Shalom, Kohalayim La Yahal Bashem Al Shai Bashem Waharakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well for teaching me this truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, to you brothers out there across the globe pushing truth with all righteousness and sincerity, and to you few sincere sisters who hearken as well diligently. All right, you few sincere followers. All right, peace, love, and blessings. Kaya here back with another video, and I just wanted to make this real quick, talking about this certain account that Yahweh Shah was when Yahweh Shah was dealing with the wicked scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees that tried to keep, ensnaring him and trapping him up all throughout the New Testament up until his crucifixion. All right. This is talking about the account of a woman who was supposedly committing adultery and got caught in the act. You know that the accusers, her accusers, all right, the wicked scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees, all right, might accuse her, to the Father. But, they went to Yahweh Shah, like I said, to tempt him and to trap him up to see what he would say. So that way they can accuse him. It was really to accuse him. All right. But let's go ahead and get into it. This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 4. It says, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? Okay, because always remember too, these wicked scribes and Pharisees, they knew the Mosaic law. They were enforcing the Mosaic law on the children of Israel in the land of Judea at the time. All right, when it was under the Romans. Okay. Now what they said is accurate. All right. So let's go to Leviticus. Let's see what that is in Leviticus. This woman was committing adultery, right, in the act, right? Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10, it says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, all right, your neighbor is your fellow Israelite, okay? Your fellow Israelite, all right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which there's a lot of that going on today, but it was going on in the ancient world as well, all right? That's why the Lord created laws against it, all right? It says, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay, so both of them consenting, all right, to sleep with each other, all right, should be put to death. So going back to John chapter 8, verse 5, I read it again. It says, now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? So they was asking Yahweh Shah, what do you say? What do you think we should do? How would you interpret this situation? Right? In John 8 and 6, it says, this they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. All right? Because what? They wanted him out of the way. All right? Because Yahweh Shah, he was gaining, multitudes of believers and followers, man. All right? And inwardly in their hearts, they knew that he was, the king. They knew that he was the Messiah, but because they was, fatting in their pockets, and they were sitting in high office seats, all right, under the Roman government, under the Roman rule. Okay, they were scared that all of Israel would believe on him, and then they would be rendered obsolete. All right, so they was trying to get him out of the way. It says, this they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahweh Shah stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. Yeah, he was ignoring them niggas, man. Okay? He was ignoring. He was just intentionally disregarding them, like, man, whatever, man. John 8 and 7, it says, so when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Okay, now what it says in the NLT on the right hand side, it says they kept demanding an answer. So he stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. All right, so because what? He perceived these guys' thoughts. All right. All right, ultimately all of Israel is sinners, man. Because we all went off from serving the law. Okay, now let's look at the judgment. Well, just to prove that, let me get this in the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 10. It says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. All right. And the point that I wanted to draw from that is that what? All right. All the sinners of Israel is going to die by the sword, man. Okay. But what? There's a remnant. All right. Even though we all identify as sinners, there's going to be a remnant that's going to be saved, man. Okay. The remnant representing the 144,000 and the 1/3, right, that believe. Okay. Now, I also want to pull another scripture because Yahweh Shah, he said what? He said, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. So y'all quoting Leviticus, the 20th chapter, all right? And I don't know how many of them it was. All right, it doesn't give a, as a matter of fact, I think it does. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't give an exact count of how many of those wicked scribes and Pharisees, was trying to trap him up, but they all eventually, like dipped, okay, because the scriptures say what it says, and again he stooped down and wrote on the ground, and they which heard it, verse 9, John 8 and 9, and they which heard it being convicted by their own conscience went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last, and Yahweh was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. I want to look at that word convicted real quick. Them being convicted in their own conscience, because what they knew that they wasn't right, man. Okay? It says to convict, refute, confute, generally with the suggestion of shame of the person convicted. By conviction, bring to the light, to expose. Yeah, they didn't want to expose themselves. But once again, Yahweh Shah, he already knew their thoughts. He knew that there wasn't a man among them that had absolutely no sin. That's why what they left them alone. And they left the woman alone as well. It says to find fault with, correct. It says to reprehend severely, chide, admonish, reprove, to call to account, show one his fault, demand an explanation, to chasten, to punish. All right, so there you go, man. All right, correction. So they felt it in their minds. They were just like, oh man, like he got a point. He got a point. Because and if one of them did, cast a stone or whatever the case, man, he would be found alive because that man is a sinner. Meaning what? There wasn't one man among them that did not sin. And just to prove that in the scriptures, because ultimately all of Israel is guilty, okay, but only some are going to be justified. Let me see, where is it? I think it was in Ecclesiasticus. Let me see. No man, not sin. Forgive me, just bear with me. Man, earth. Oh, there we go. Ecclesiastes. It was Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 20. It says, for there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. All right, so there you go, man. All right. There's no just man upon the earth that doeth good and sinneth not. What? Because what? We all of Israel, that's why all of Israel is in the state that we're in today. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay. That's why these guys, they felt so convicted by their own conscience, because what? They knew that they was guilty. All right. Even though, they had a lot of pride on them and hypocrisy and things of that nature, these guys knew that they was guilty. All right. When Yahweh Shah said, he that is without sin among you, let him cast let him first cast a stone at her. So yeah, if y'all niggas are so perfect, I want the one that is among you without sin to cast the first stone. You know? Or not I want you, but he said, look, if you believe you are without sin, then you cast the first stone, man. All right. Verse 9, I'm gonna read it again. It says, and they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last, and Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Verse 10, when Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, woman, where are those thine accusers? Have no man condemned thee? Yeah, where did those clowns go? Where did those guys go that was trying to accuse you and condemn you? Verse 11, she said, no man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. He said, all right, get out of here. Don't don't sin no more. All right. Get your shit together. Because Yahushua, remember, Yahushua represents the mercy of the mercy of Israel. All right. The mercy of Israel being reconciled back to the Father. All right. Yahushua wasn't out there to, like, put forth the execution. All right. He wasn't out there to judge. Okay. So to speak, he was out there to judge, but he wasn't out there to execute the Mosaic law, man. Because what he was a plan. He was the redeemer. All right. He was the redeemer of Israel. Okay. Through a better covenant. Okay. He was the redeemer of a better covenant, which is the New Testament. So he wasn't out there, trying to put nobody to death and things of that nature, man. Yahushua represents the mercy. All right. Going into Hebrews, I think it's like the 8th chapter, man. All right. The author of a better covenant. The mediator, if you will. Let me see. That was pretty much the point on that, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and get this, and then I'll just close out through the Spirit. As a matter of fact, I had a commentary here for John chapter 8, verse 7, and I wanted to get the Benson commentary. It says when they continued asking him, that is, pressed him with great importunity to give an answer, thinking no doubt they had him at a great advantage. Yeah, once again, they thought they could trick and trap him up. It says he lifted up himself and without replying directly to their command, said, he that is without sin among you, he that is not guilty in his own conscience being the judge. All right. In his own conscience. All right. Because the scriptures say this. I think it was Mark the 7th chapter. Let me see. I think it was like Mark the 7th or 8th chapter. Yep, Mark chapter 7, verse 14, it says, and when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those are they that defile a man. So if one of those individuals, if one of those Israelites, because they were Israelites, if one of those Israelites was to, cast the first stone at her, okay, and he has sin in him, then he would be found what? A hypocrite, a liar, which they was hypocrites and things of that nature anyway. Okay, but that's why it said what? They felt that the weight of the guilt on their minds, man. Okay? It says, if any man have ears to hear, let him hear. Okay? Verse 17, and when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said unto him, Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Yeah, because it's not about what goes inside of you. It's not about the information and the doctrines that you obtain that goes inside of you. Okay, it's what you putting out. Okay, it's your conduct. All right. And they had to continue to what? To look pretty, man. That's why Yahweh called them hypocrites, because what? They looked good on the outside. They looked like they were, keepers of the law, and that they were honest and just and good men. All right, but what? Inwardly, they were full of dead men's bones, as the scriptures say. All right, and every time Yahweh called them out on their nonsense, what happened? They always sought to lay hands on him. They wanted to grab him up and they wanted to kill him. Okay? So going back to the commentary, it says, he that is not guilty in his own conscience being the judge, either of the same sin or of some nearly resembling it, let him as a witness first cast a stone at her. He alludes to the law, Deuteronomy 17:7. It says, I'm gonna read it from the hands of I'm gonna read it from the King James Bible. It says, the hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people, so thou shalt put the evil away from among you. So, all right, so if you witness it, okay, if you witness it and you know your judgment is true according to the law, that's why the scriptures say judge righteous judgment. Then what? You're supposed to cast the first stone, okay? And then after that, all the people, But yeah, that was the point on that. Just one of those stories that kind of stuck out to me and things of that nature. You got Jake always trying to, you got Jake always pointing his fingers at somebody else, but not himself, man. All right, why worry? What the scripture say? Why worry? Why why are you worrying about, the mote that is in your brother's eye, not the beam in your own? Roughly paraphrasing. Okay, here it is. You point your fingers at your brother or your sister, your fellow Israelite brother. Okay, but you're not worrying about the sin, the madness going on within yourself, bro. All right. With that being said, Lord's willing, this is edifying. Shalom.